Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So here's another deck profile for you guys today. Sorry for the long wait. I've been busy this past holiday season and also this past month, considering that my 30th birthday recently passed, and it's just like I haven't had time to really make any new content. Now, of course, just recently I got back into the competitive game because I kind of just had the time to go for it. So I decided to take Branded Chimera to my local, actually just last Thursday, and I actually got first place. My matchups were uh, Bestial Runic. There was also some weird Kashtira Virtual World hybrid deck, which actually was pretty good. That was probably one of my toughest matchups. What else did I play against? Dang, I can't remember what my last matchup was. But yeah, but anyway, I ended up, I remember now, it was Dinosaurs. I was up against Dinosaurs. That was also a fairly tough matchup, and yeah, it was pretty fun overall. But yeah, I managed to top the first place with this deck. Of course, this was before Phantom Nightmare was officially legal, so I had to take off one specific card that's in the main deck, which I'll get to momentarily. And yeah, this deck really pulled through for me. So let's go and get started. So my main deck is actually 42 cards. In the tournament, it was actually 41, because again, there was just one card that wasn't yet legal yet. But starting off with 3 copies of Mirror Sword Knight. This is one of your main starters. And of course, you also got to have 3 copies of Cornfield Codal, which I'm happy to report that this will have a super rare in the upcoming OTS pack. But yeah, Sword Knight, tags out to basically anything that lists Chimera Fusion. Your main target's going to be Baphomet. And Cornfield Codal, you use that to search out the Sword Knight. Just always good to have that follow-up play. And also, while you have a Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast on field or in the graveyard, you can banish Near Sword Knight to negate monster effects your opponent's controls, and Cornfield Codal negates targeting effects. And this is the one that actually destroys, so yeah. Both really handy when they really come up, and honestly, both their effects came in clutch quite a number of times. Next up, 3 copies of Gazelle. You mainly searches off the Big Wing Baphomet, but if this card is normal or special summon, you can add either a level 5 Fiend monster or a Chimera Fusion. And if it's used as fusion material and sent to the graveyard, you can add any illusion monster you want from your deck to your hand. And it's going to be a lot more powerful, especially once we get the new illusion support coming on the next core set. Next up, 2 copies of Big Wing Baphomet. Like Gazelle, if this card is normal or special summon, you can either add... Well, actually, you could add both a level 4 Beast and Chimera Fusion. So this card actually searches out 2 cards. And that's why this deck's so broken. Moving on, 1 copy of Master Tal, the Chanter. This card is actually pretty good because it's a monster reborn for illusion monsters. Now, of course, it does lock you into illusion monsters, well, at least summoning them from the graveyard, so yeah, but Master Tal overall is really powerful. Now, the card I was talking about, the one that I couldn't really play during the tournament because it wasn't just legal yet, is Emissary from the House of Wax. This card is actually pretty interesting. So this card reads that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand. So basically, it's a good way just to wall up in case if your opponent picks apart your board. And of course, you can only use each of the effect of Emissary of the House of Wax once per turn. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed in battle, so we already know this is an illusion monster. At the end of your opponent's battle phase, you can activate this effect. Until the start of your opponent's next battle phase, all attack position monsters your opponent currently controls cannot change their battle positions, and they cannot be used as material for a fusion, synchro, exceed, or link summon. Also, their effects are negated. So this is actually not too bad when you think about it, because again, it negates effects, which is really handy, and it lingers up until the start of their next battle phase, which means that they're going to have to force themselves to go into their battle phase and then end their battle phase and go straight to their main phase too. And of course, attacking is not going to do them any good because, this is an illusion monster. It can't be destroyed. So, but yeah, again, I haven't fully been able to test this card out just yet, but if I do, it'll definitely stay in the deck if I end up liking it. If not, I can always cut it and put in something else instead. But yeah, again, this is just an option if you guys want to try this card out. Moving on, 2 copies of Fallen of Alabaz, since, we are playing Branded Fusion. I have considered trying out a Ubel engine rather than the Branded engine, but I'll get to that another time. 2 copies of Kashtira Fenrir, just 2 because, I didn't want to overexceed 42 cards. And again, if I don't end up liking Emissary, I can always cut that and put in a 3rd Fenrir again later. And finally, 1 copy of the End of Anubis. This card actually came up a lot. Negates targeting effects, that target the graveyard. So like spell, trap, and monster effects, can't not target the graveyard. And it also negates any graveyard effects that activate. So yeah, the end of Anubis is pretty nuts against the Fire King matchup, against the Rescue Ace. Even Runix, you know, have a rough time against this card, so they have to actually summon out one of their Bystials and just crash right into this guy. So yeah, the end of Anubis really puts a huge dent on the opponent if, you know, they don't have a way to out this. But yeah, that's about it. All right, now moving on to my hand traps. Get these out of the way. I'm just playing like the standard options, you know, 3 Ash, 3 Droll. Droll is still very powerful this format. And 3 copies of Imperm, you know. Yeah, just like my favorite lineup overall. All right, now for the spells, which actually that's all I got left from here on out. 3 Chimera Fusion, you know, this card's busted for a reason. Same thing with Branded Fusion. And I'm happy that I finally got my hands on the Ultimate Rare, so yeah, these look really nice. 3 Super Poly, you know, your opponent can't respond to it, so why not? 3 Crossout, this came up a few times actually. Same thing with Triple T. If I had Thrust, I would play it, but I think 2 Triple Tactics Talents is just fine. Same thing with the 1 Called by the Grave. And yeah, there's nothing else I need to say about all that. All right, and for the extra deck, not much has changed with this one. Still playing the 2 copies of the Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast. I mean, it's just good to rip cards out of your opponent's hand, especially if they are down to like 2 or less cards. 1 Birthmit, you know, it's Foolish Burial. 1 Chimera, the Illusion Base. I actually brought this out at least one time, and I was able to OTK my opponent with it. 1 Guardian Chimera. Considering that Fire Kings is a deck now, I think 1 is just fine. You don't really want to be playing this at 2 because, you know, they want their cards to be destroyed. So, yeah, unless you hit their field spell specifically, yeah, you definitely need to be woefully careful on how you play Guardian Chimera now. But it's still a really powerful card. It's big, draws you cards. So, I mean, can't argue with that, right? 1 Albion, 1 Lebellion, Rinbrum, of course, my personal favorite, Mirror Jade. And then for the other cards that I got right here, I still play the 1 Magnum the Reliever. This card is still pretty good, draws you cards, also pops cards too. So yeah, it's pretty nice. 1 Mud Dragon, 1 Garura, 1 Guilty Gearfried. Garura actually came up quite a few times too. Same thing with Mud Dragon, so yeah, definitely still some of the best Super Poly targets. I only summoned Dragostapelia once, and I know I haven't seen this deck around lately, but the Draco Quest, I still like to play it specifically for the Manadiums, because, you know, they do play Baron de Flor and Crimson Dragon, so, like, you definitely want to stop them. Because keep in mind, even though I don't see the deck as often as before, it's still a very formidable foe, so, like, yeah, always good to be prepared. But, yeah, that's basically my extra deck lineup. And now moving on to the side deck, I'm sorry. My side deck is pretty self-explanatory, you know, 2 Nibs, just for like any combo heavy deck, like Fire King specifically. Of course, they do have a means to negate it, so just bear that in mind. 2 DD Crow. I think DD Crow is a little bit better than Bystials right now. So yeah, I definitely like what this card can offer, because like it's just really flexible. 2 Pinkertops, you know, powerful going second card. It definitely can come back to 3. So like yeah, hopefully on the next ban list. Also playing 2 copies of Phantasme. A lot of decks right now are using Link monsters, and considering that Phantasme also, you know, protects from targeting effects, I've heard, you know what, let's play Phantasme and try him out. And he hasn't come up yet, but I still feel like he will at one of these points. And he also draws you cards, so that's also really nice. This card came in clutch a couple times. 1 copy of Barrier Statue of the Abyss. This actually came up on my Kashtira Virtual World matchup, because like my opponent was forced to go into his battle phase, destroy this thing, and considering I was able to like pick apart his, like, just kept disrupting him up until he only had like 1 card left in hand. Yeah, it was just game over at that point. 2 Soul Release. I played this at 3, but I don't have a 3rd one, so I gotta get a 3rd one later. 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Harpies Feather Duster, and last but not least, 1 copy of D-Barrier. This is just a cross-out target, since it's basically like my biggest enemy. I might consider putting in the Black Goat Laughs later as another cross-out target, because that card actually hurts me quite a lot too. And considering that Labyrinth actually plays that card, yeah, it's like it's always good to be prepared against like cards that will basically shut you down for a turn or 2. But anyway, that's it for the deck profile. Now just stay tuned for the combo video. So give me 1 second to get set up.